Hey guys, welcome to the Heart of David. Today's video is about how the kings of the earth, how the rulers of the earth in vain take crafty counsel against God. Pardon me, I'm in a lot of pain. I say that in the last videos because I am. It's very difficult to concentrate. If you ever had your back is out. I also have the adhesive arachnoiditis in my spine, so those two mixed together is very tough. So I have difficulty thinking. I'm going to read you something first. Well, actually, I don't know if I want to read this first. So let's read this first, and then I'm going to say something. Psalm 83. And listen, whether or not what I'm talking about has to do with it, what I'm doing is applying to it, and I believe in some sense that it does. A psalm of Asaph. Don't keep silent, O God. Don't hold your peace, and don't be still, O God. For behold, your enemies make a tumult, and those who hate you have lifted up their head. They have taken crafty counsel against your people, and consulted together against your sheltered ones. You're going to say, this is for Israel. I think it applies the same. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel be remembered no more. I'm just applying it to it, okay? For they have consulted together with one consent. They form a confederacy against you. The tents of Edom, so Edom and the Ishmaelites, Moab, I'm just going to read it. Moab and the Hagrites, Gebal, Ammon, and Amalek, Philistia with the inhabitants of Tyre. Assyria has also joined with them. They have helped with the children of Lot. Selah. Deal with them as with Midian, as with Sisera in the book of Judges, as with Jabin at the brook Kishon, who perished at Endor, who became as refuse on the earth. Make their nobles like Oreb and Zeb. Yes, all their princes like Zebah and Zalmunna, who said, let us take for ourselves the pastures of God for a possession. O my God, make them like the whirling dust, like the chaff before the wind, as the fire burns the woods, and the flame sets the mountains on fire. So pursue them with your tempest, and frighten them with your storm. Fill their faces with shame, that they may seek your name, O Lord. Let them be confounded and dismayed forever. Yes, let them be put to shame and perish, that they may know that you, whose name alone is the Lord, are the Most High over all the earth. I'm reading Jeremiah too right now. Boy, oh boy, I felt that in there. That's not me speaking, I tell you that. I feel it though. Yes, they are talking about Israel in there. But isn't it funny as the things that are happening in Israel that we see are happening, all the wars, let's just call it Iran. That's what it is. Islam. I'm not saying all of Islam, okay? But on the other side of things, this is why I make this video. Picture our lives in 2018 before everything happened. I'm not going to say names, I'm not going to say. Our world was not heading in a good direction. You know that. We've only had social media since 2010 with the devices that can deliver the way that they do right now. That's not even 15 years and we're going to implode, right? It's because of the internet. Speak of the kings of the earth, when you picture, if you were to go back in 2018 and you knew nothing, and I always use the analogy, there are people waking up right now, today I'm sure, from a coma that was 5, 10, maybe even 15 years ago. There's a lot of people on this earth, you better believe it's happening, and they can't believe what's happening. What if they're a Christian? A learned Christian? Anybody? How is it that in the West, it seems like every politician who is way over on the left side, they're way on the left side. New Zealand, Australia, Canada, it was like the Netherlands, Germany. Look at Biden. Look at Brazil. Look at Venezuela. Who are these people? How did this happen all of a sudden? How did it happen all of a sudden that they want all this power? There's always been power, but not like this. And you know what started this all in 2019 was the catalyst. Isn't it amazing? You know what strikes me funny? You know what really strikes me seriously? Non-Christians. They don't know what's going on. All they see is things going wrong, but they can't comprehend it because they haven't been because they don't share the love of the truth of God. Therefore, they can't really see what's happening. I gotta pace. Let me pace for a second. It's my back. Just give me a second, guys. Before 2019, look, they could take this down, that's fine. Go look back at a video. Okay, how many diseases did you hear of? Like worried about diseases. So I'm 45 years old, like I say, nearly 46, born in 78, so I've seen quite a few things in my life. We weren't worried about things like that. We had heard of the bubonic plague, and we had heard of, anthrax scares and stuff like that. But up to that date, so say 2018, we don't really hear about scares and all those types of things. You say, well, Dave, you weren't looking. No, these things were not being portrayed in the news. So after that, which people call a dry run, which I believe, which nearly collapsed the world, many places, economically, people not going back to, do you understand the ramifications of all the buildings that are not being used now? 3 years of people not going to work, all of a sudden, I don't feel like I have to go to work anymore. Do you know what's happening to those buildings that are no longer being in use? $4 trillion just in the United States that's costing. $4 trillion with a T. This was purposeful. It's a communist agenda, guys. When you look at it, it doesn't matter, but I'm telling you what it is. Communist. To push the rich to get even richer. I'm talking about the super wealthy. Even the wealthy will be cut out of this. It's funny how we're getting closer to that election within like 2 months, and I'll tell you what I see. I don't watch stuff. I don't spend my time in this. Okay, guys, I'm studying right now. That's what I'm doing. I'm working with my hands. I'm not paying attention. But while I'm doing the things, that I do on my laptop, I have a news sticker on the bottom. When I go out, say I come in, wash my dishes, I do play videos, usually Christian videos, and I learn a lot of information from that. But I look for the truth myself. If I go to my ticker on the bottom, where it brings up all the news, as the election's getting closer, and I'd say in the last year, what was it? So Bill Gates, right? He released those modified mosquitoes. We know this. Go back. You don't believe me? Look at the videos. All of a sudden, West Nile. All of a sudden, malaria. I think it was yesterday, 13, what did they say, 13 cows died from anthrax in the States. Monkeypox and triple E. There's more. There is more. These are not bona fide, naturally occurring things. I think you well know this. This isn't, I don't think this is God allowing, like it's his plan to do it. I think it's just the evil. It's to scare us. It's to do all this type of stuff. And listen, if you're a born-again Christian, you probably already understand that you don't worry about those things. That's why I read Psalm 83. These people are evil as hell. There's a lot of things that, you wish you could watch happen to these people. I'm sorry to say that. Throw them in prison. Just put them in prison. But it's unfortunate the whole world is turning this way. Look what they're doing. Anyways, the way I look at life is, even though I'm just trying to relay these things. This is what's happening. I live in a rather peaceful country right now, with a lot of horrendous new laws, though. Look at what's happening. They're destroying us by bringing in migrants to overrun us. Look at the States. That's horrible. The border. And as I predicted, as I knew about 3 years ago, before anyone, I'm not trying to say I was talking about anyone, but I was thinking, I already studied World War II. I saw what happened. I saw all the issues of World War I that after World War I that built up that made World War II happen. Why Hitler was even, why people were for him. Because they were being oppressed. It's happening again. Their party is winning in Germany. Can you see a Holy Roman Empire coming? I can see Europe turning away from this. Absolutely. I already saw it, and I think it's biblical anyways. In the book of Daniel, it's the Roman Empire. It's coming back, man. That's what I believe, and it's going to be the European Union or something very close to that. I just want to read something else before I go here. What's happened to my back has really, really ruined a lot of stuff. I've retore, so in all I've torn my back 3 times. I've retore it twice, obviously, because it's so easy. And it gives you what's called pain dementia. There is such a thing. When you have so much pain, especially in your back, you can't think straight. Just pain in general does that. So I tore it in about 8 places. It's pretty bad. I'm going to read another scripture. I just have to look first. Yeah. And you guys have heard this before, but I read this. You've heard this a lot lately, probably. Just give me a sec. I want to say another thing that may interest you. You know the Great Apostasy, and you know Babylon and all that type of stuff? People say it's America, it's the West. You know, like, it. When you look at it, it certainly looks like it, right? Just got to make sure this is recording. It certainly looks like it, right? And anyone can take their best guess what it is. I mean, I think the West is disgusting, what's happening. Destroying our youth purposely, porn, drugs, just everything. Social media, turning people into narcissists. Just like, destroying what they call the nuclear family on purpose. Satan's plan. The question is, Babylon and the Great Apostasy, do you think it's rather the Holy Roman Empire? Because I wonder, well, let me take a look here. The apostasy, the Great Apostasy, which will come first, right? I believe is probably the Catholic Church. I can't imagine it as being anything else, because they speak for Christianity. There's a lot of Catholics, man, and I don't believe for the most part Catholics are saved for what they believe in. But I can't judge. I'm sure there's a lot of them saved. You can say what you want to me, I don't care. I got out of that system, and I understand you can't worship Mary, you can't do all that stuff. But again, I can't judge your heart either. And who is Babylon? I mean, you could look at the West, and it's certainly it's filth. Filth, what they call it, decadence. But just ask yourself this before I read this. In God's eyes, God sees throughout all history, He's seen a lot of different sins. Him looking at all the sins of the U.S. and the West, and the world for that matter. Do you think He just looks at it as just being more sins? Because I think when you represent Christians, you're calling yourself something to God, and that does matter. I think that makes God even more angry. It would be easy to forget about what the Catholic Church has done and how many people they represent and the nations that they represented. That's all I'm going to say. But I'm going to read this. We're in this time, now, brethren, concerning the coming of our Lord Jesus Christ and gathering together to Him, we ask you to not be soon be shaken in mind or troubled, either by spirit or word or by letter, as if from us, though the day of Christ had come. So, Paul's writing in a time when the people Paul told about the day of the Lord had messed around with them and told them other stuff. So Paul's just writing back to them saying this. Let no one deceive you by any means, for that day will not come unless the falling away comes first. You look at the Catholic Church, does the Pope look like he's intervening on anything that's happening? No. In fact, he's celebrating it. Don't you think that's a worse, you're going to say all sins are bad. I think it's a worse sin because he represents a lot of Christians, right? Let no one deceive you by any means, for that day will not come unless the falling away happens first. And that falling away is happening. You look at these churches on the internet with 500,000, a million, 2 million subscribers. There's a lot of false stuff, and they're speaking stuff that they were never induced to speak. It's everywhere. Every video, I would say 95% of videos of just private Christians doing a video are saying, God said to me, God said to me. We were told this would happen. Just read the Bible and don't listen to men unless you already have that discernment already. Let no one deceive you by any means, for that day will not come unless the falling away comes first. And then the man of sin is revealed, the son of perdition, who opposes and exalts himself above all that is called God, or that is worship, so that he sits as God in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. I believe it will be a real temple. That's what I do believe. That's where I stand. Do you not remember when I was still with you, I told you these things? And now you know what is restraining the Holy Spirit, that he may be revealed in his own time. For the mystery of lawlessness is already at work. Only he who now restrains will do so until he's taken out of the way. And then the lawless one will be revealed, whom the Lord will consume with the breath of his mouth and destroy with the brightness of his coming. I want you to learn some stuff here. The coming of the lawless one is according to the working of Satan. We see that now. Propaganda and lies like the worst ever in history. With all power, signs and lying wonders, and with all unrighteous deception among those who perish, because they didn't receive the love of the truth. This is why they're perishing, that they may be saved. For this reason, God will send them a strong delusion, that they should believe the lie. Now, I don't study in depth what translations, like it says the lie, could it be something different? That they may all be condemned, you didn't believe the truth but had pleasure in unrighteousness. The lie. They just don't have the love of the truth. That's just the way I see it. I think we're stuck in that time right now of what this is speaking about. I think what I want to finish with is we've never seen something like this before. Everything that we're told to look out for is here. And it's funny, isn't it, that you can't point it out to someone who doesn't understand already about God. They know, people who love and know God know what this is. There's a lot of evil going on. I'm not telling you to be worried at all. Live your life. I mean, I understand if you're in a place where you can't do that and you're maybe someone's seeing this as being overrun by migrants. Hey man, if you can't, get out of that place. But live your life otherwise for the Lord and just stay in the Word. It's so easy to be swayed by lies and men. Don't put your faith in men, like a lot of people are trying to do right now. God bless, guys. Thanks for watching.